that's okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and I'm hoping that we're okay. I'm in Florida, and so we just got our first rain yesterday, and it was beautiful and wonderful, and I was so grateful because my lawn looks like something crunchy, looks more like
Yeah.
cereal.
Yeah.
But Lord. Anyway, I apologize. So this will be two parts.
Okay. That's fine.
You were ending before the power surge about teens, young people at this time.
Yeah, and I as I was mentioning, actually there's a couple young people that really they've put their feelings out there on social media. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. And I tell people to be mindful of what they're doing, because it can come back and haunt you. But I tell them whatever, no matter what or no matter who, I tell them no matter what or no matter who, don't let nothing or no one drag your spirit down. And that's actually a song. And I do that song quite often with all three of my acts because it's something that people need. Because there's a lot of depression going around, a lot of sadness, people, trying to get out of the quagmire, out of the mud pit, whatever you want, how you want to look at it. And it's kind of hard for them to do. And I just, my advice is, yes, it's hard. Yes. Do you need to talk to somebody? Find somebody. Do you need professional help? That's totally up to you. I can't say whether you need it or not because I'm not experienced in, caring for mental health. My whole thing is the emotional and the spiritual side of what I do. And hence why, I've been drawn to do music and ministry, hence why I do the Spirit Station at Steamworks Creative with Pastor Greg. So that's my advice.
I think it's very challenging right now. And my daughter is going to be 16 in a couple of weeks. And they're plagued with things that you and I never would have had. And, I'm freshly 45 and we had problems. We had stupid bullies and like stupid, simple stuff.
Yeah.
But, just all of this confusion and all of the social media, which is a bittersweet thing. In some ways it's beautiful. And in other ways, it just encourages those doubts,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I appreciate all that you do in encouraging people to speak up, speak out, and feel safe with those emotions.
Yeah, no problem. It's, and I tell people I don't know everything. I used to be young at one time, teenager. Of course, my nieces and nephews and my oldest, they used to make fun of me growing up. It's like, you never know what it's like to be a teenager. I my siblings and I we laugh. I said, wow, we must have been Cabbage Patch dolls or something. Like we went from the patch to adults. Really? What happened in between? But as they've gotten older, my oldest is 42, my baby's 29, and my nieces and nephews are 30s and their 20s. And a lot of them realize that it's different generation. It's a generational thing. But we all kind of had the same thing going on. We rebel against the parents. I did. Well, I tried to. We thought we were grown. At least I did. It's like, I'm an individual, respect me. Yeah, okay. Outside of the house, I did that. So, and, the way of the world, what was going on. So I just think it's kind of the same emotional, spiritual, mental things that are going on. It's just different kind of phases. But it still has that general thing going on. So I get it. At 16, wow. I was a handful.
I was in a very abusive and toxic household, and by the time I hit 16, I was in foster care. So it was kind of like the proverbial middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a good kid. you know, I didn't do anything too outlandish. I just was mouthy, like scrappy with my words. And
Yeah.
I didn't, even to this day, I'm still scrappy with my words. I don't have a filter at all, just who I am. And it's interesting that my daughter's sassy, but she's more politically correct sassy, if that makes sense. Like she's,
Yes.
she can give you a zinger without being a trucker, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But
Yeah.
I just look at her, I'm like, you know what? I've been there, I've done that. I get it. Go
Yeah.
ahead. And I just sit back. It's like when she was 2 years old trying to, you know, walk with diapers and tell me where to go because she was Miss Sassy Pants.
Yeah.
It just was cute to me, like the whole growing up thing. I don't know. I take it in a very different way. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But you know, at that age, I feel that they know their individuality, just what, because boys and girls growing up are different. My one sibling, she had 4 girls and 2 boys. My brother, he's got a couple girls, and my one sister had a girl out of the 3, and then sister had a boy. So I see the difference, but in the same respect, they are trying to find themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they really are. They're trying to find themselves. They're trying to figure out, you know, who am I, first of all? Why am I here again? And I have my opinion, because they're, you know, they're looking at the adults around them. They really are. They may say no because we don't, you know, we're not into their whole world, but they're actually looking at the adults. They're looking at their friends who are around adults. Doesn't matter if it's parents, teachers, it doesn't matter. Every day, like somebody works in a store, a corporation, they're looking at the adults. Because, you know, anytime your child says, well, you did that, well, okay, but I learned my lesson, and I learned that wasn't the right thing to do.
Right. And now I'm your advisor to give you guidance that I've already made that mistake. Please don't do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's just kind of interesting how the younger generations today are forming their opinion. And like you said, you got all this going on in social media. It's like carte blanche. You know, it's like, okay, that's happening. And then, but I'm going to tell you, I have to admire, especially some of the younger ones that I work with in my office. They have their opinions. They're very smart. They're very opinionated. But at the end of the day, it's because, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. I researched this. I did this. And I'm like, well, that doesn't kind of, you know, to myself. Because I've learned to respect people's opinions, and, you know, I'll form my own opinion. I never give my opinion on something, because this is a generation that, sure, you know, you're your generation, but this is our generation. This is what we're seeing. This is the opinions we have formed, and this is what we don't like. This is what we liked. So it's just kind of interesting. I find it fascinating, especially with nieces and nephews too. Very interesting. You can give them all the advice in the world, but at the end of the day, they're going to look at the advice of their generation, not my generation. I have found that.
Well, I'm an opinionated person, and I just have to say that I just think you're adorable, and I'm so grateful that you were able to spend time with me. That is my official opinion, by the way.
Thank you.
Tell us where we can find more information about you, and how people can listen to your music.
Well, you can go to my website, missfreddye.com, MISSFREDDYE.com. Find me on Twitter at Miss Freddye 17. Go to Instagram, Freddye Stover. Check me out. You can go to Pefoma, PEFOMA. That's a musician's platform. Just like what you see. Find me on Facebook, Miss Freddye. Go like my page. And if you want to listen to some music, I'm all over the musical platform, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Go on Spotify, check out my 2 albums and my 2 recently released singles. And CD Baby, if you want to purchase something, that'd be great. Thank you so very much. I do appreciate it.
Miss Freddie, you are a doll, and I am so grateful that you stumbled across my inbox. Thank you, Michael, once again, because he knows I don't usually have musicians on here, but it takes a special one to put on to share with the audience, because I just think your story is great, and I think you're great. So happy Saturday to you, and I'll see you.
Thank you. Same to you. Take care. Thank you
Miss
so
Freddie.
much. All right.
You're watching Living and Thriving with Rustie, and I'm Rustie, and that was Miss Freddie, and I get to do this. I get to meet amazing people all over the world virtually, and this summer I'm going to meet some face-to-face, and it's going to be so exciting to get hugs and to see the spirit face-to-face and live. I cannot tell you how much I love what I do. I think that all of these people shine, and they highlight what it means to be a member of society. I love their stories and how they inspire and motivate people like you to try something new and have a different perspective. Know that you're loved, know that you're beautiful, and kindness is key this year. You never know what little bit of kindness that you can give somebody else, how it'll change the trajectory of their future. You can actually save a life. You can switch somebody's sadness into a happy moment just for a moment, even if it's a cup of coffee or a donut. Doesn't have to be a Facebook paparazzi thing. Just do something kind for somebody. Pay for somebody's toll. Deliver flowers to the elderly lady down the road who doesn't really have much family. You can do nice things for each other, and that'll change the world in itself. Until next time.